Welcome back into the PPC community broadcast. Fawn the Legend here, joined
You
by
mean
Kresnik TV.
Fawn the
What's
Legend
up?
Fawn?
Yes, true. Yeah,
That that
Fawn,
is that is
Fawn
how
the
I put your
Legend,
name in.
Fawn. That's true. You're 100% right. Fawn the Legend, Fawn here, joined by Kresnik TV as we head right into the Brazilian region with Ignite Gaming versus Fatal Ambition.
And I am personally excited for this set because I feel like Fatal
Mhm.
have looked a lot better as we've gone a little bit further in. Now that they've made some roster changes, switching people around, pick up RC Soldier, I believe, as one of those picks. And they have, I think, on my personal tier list, have shot up. I also believe they picked up Divino. I want to say that Divino has also been performing pretty solidly on this team. I'm going to double check that really quickly as I talk here. But yeah, them picking up Divino and them having RC Soldier both playing, I think, has been a phenomenal look for them. Divino has been kind of a great performer for them on these off-tank roles, something that I felt like they were missing a little bit. They had someone who flexed but wasn't necessarily more dedicated towards that tank, and now they're in this meta that really wants that. You want a really good off-tank to make room for your team, to let your DPS pop off with these pockets. They have been looking, I think, very settled in this meta.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, the fact that both of these games are going to be, well, not both of these games, I should say these games in this set are going to be pretty, I feel like personally they're going to be pretty action-packed, just based off of the fact that both of these teams are going to really be duking it out here. I mean, standings or not, we just saw Big Salazar really fight back against Clown Fiesta. I feel like the same can be said for here. I feel like both of these teams can really show their stuff when it really matters, and I think this is going to be a very, very awesome set to watch.
Agreed, and I'm just now currently talking to make sure my audio levels are okay, because apparently I am kind of low in comparison. But oh no, everyone just had the stream turned down. Okay, well we fixed it anyway. We fixed the problem that we're hoping we did not have. But I'll get us into this first map set up here. The bans though: Ignite Gaming banned Bright Marsh and Ice Mines, and Fatal Ambition banned Warder's Gate and Shattered Desert. So a couple standards we're not going to see. Bright Marsh and Ice Mines both gone. Warders and Shattered more commonly seen in the ban column. Some teams really don't like that style of play, but Stone Keep just can't leave it today, Fawn. We're going right from game 3 on EU to here for game 1 of this hopefully pretty sweet set as we slide into the picks and bans.
Yeah. Right, that's exactly how we ended the set last time, and now we find ourselves back in Stone Keep once again. Vivian is going to find their way to the ban column for Ignite Gaming. Interesting that we didn't even really see her last set at all in the ban column, and neither picked. We didn't see her at all in EU, but now that we're back in Brazil, they feel like that's more value to get rid of her. Vivian's going to be picked here, or I should say banned here, excuse me, on the side of Ignite Gaming, as Fatal Ambition are going to get rid of Buck. Ignite Gaming have to round out their draft, though, or round out their ban phase by getting rid of Strix.
Yeah, I think smart to that is definitely the more recent, the updated. I know what it's like to play against controller players. Controller bans. Vivian and Strix are definitely the most impactful. Clearly, they are targeting Headed on the other side, so don't want him to get what he's comfortable with. But I mean, Corvus Open, Genos Open, both of them are going to be available. They get the Genos on the side of Ignite Gaming, so a little bit more value towards that damage boost, towards that more passive style of healing that they're going to get in Fatal Ambition. I think will probably, as we see, deny them from getting that double pocket. And they get I mean, of course, right? Vivian and Strix are banned. If you need something for your controller player on backline damage to play, why not Victor? It's one of the most impactful picks in the game right now when it's played right.
Yeah, Genos is going to find his way to the pick column first for Ignite Gaming, and Fatal Ambition are going to respond with Corvus Victor, just as you were pointing out previously. Rom, though, is going to be the pick here on the side of Ignite Gaming. Their second pick will be their third here. It seems like Androxus is going to be locked in here, because there are already 2 characters that have already been picked up on the side of Ignite that are already extremely strong.
Yeah,
the same can be said for Fatal Ambition. And Nara Zen is how they're going to pick things off here. Great draft so far on both sides.
Yeah, I agree there. I love seeing I think the draft for both sides are good. I like the aggression potentially coming out from Ignite Gaming, and I want to see what they kind of do to round out what they have so far. Torvald for that effective double support, so I'm going to say solo tank ROM more or less at this point. This might be something that Snap and pull out once they feel more comfortable maybe playing with this Torvald, but not necessarily what we've seen quite yet. We'll see how it will look here paired with an Amani. So Amani paired with the Torvald, something that we've seen a bit from Ignite Gaming now. Kubi's pulled it out on a couple different maps. It has looked fantastic every time he's brought it out on any of them. They generally play the fire stance Imani, so basically just a different style of Shaolin. Vertical Shaolin with a more direct, rapid shot, I guess, on their side, and arguably a more impactful ultimate, depending on how much space they have to hide the dragon and how much room that Fatal Ambition will get to counter it.
Yep, that means they have to dedicate that bulldozer to make sure that Imani Dragon is not finding as much value as they want. Atlas is going to be the last lock in for Fatal Ambition here. Beautiful counter to Rom already, as well as making sure that Androxus has a hell of a time getting into the back line for free and is not going to be punished for any sort of overextension that he does due to his nether step. So they have to play into that divider a lot as well. So, I mean, these are very awesome drafts on both sides, man. I really already like these. Whose draft do you like more, though, Kresnik? Personally.
Oh, God. I feel like the draft on Ignite's side, I want to like it better, but it's so execution heavy. It can just collapse if a couple shots get missed. It's a little bit of pressure on those DPS and how well Fatal Ambition can counter out this ROM. But we can head into game and take a look at exactly how things are going to look as we get further in here. I love seeing Deja Vu from this Atlas, but I'm going to hover over all the other talents first anyway. And Pyromania, Kubi is one of the first players I've seen, at least at this level, really utilize it to its fullest, using that third AoE shot to shoot people around corners as they run away, and I'm sure he is frothing at the mouth to get into that next patch and use that all AoE Pyromania, see how that feels for them. And if they don't go that way, you know, some people, they don't like the damage nerf to the Pyromania next patch. Maybe they're going to pull up that Mana Rift instead, use those double Fire Blasts to burst people down with a Genos 2300. I expect to see a little bit more of that coming into the next patch.
Yeah, I would definitely expect to see that a lot more too as the patch goes on when we get to Vora's Pact. But we're still on the Radiant Stars one for this one, as we've seen that Church has been contested a little bit by the Androxus. Rom immediately wants to run all the way into the back line, make him as uncomfortable as possible. And to see that they're going for a collapse here, they push into the back line, onto the side of Red Team, as now Kubi's firing freely into Church. Finds some damage, but doesn't find enough for them to be concerned about at this time in place, because they're plugging in damage, shot after shot, from different people. The Inferno Cannon goes out and manages to melt Inara a little bit more, but it's not going to be enough to keep her out of the fight. Red Team has built a lot of percentages for themselves. It's going to be even harder for them to try and fight back on the side of Red. It's going to be a big challenge for them, as Rom now contests directly onto the objective, but gets looked at by too many people. They haven't really been able to touch effectively. They haven't found their mark quite yet, as over time starts to dwindle down time and time again. Androxus uses the nether step to make sure that he can make it directly onto the point, but he won't be able to hold on for long as Fatal Ambition capture their first one.
Yeah, Fatal just controlled to keep that entire time, basically made it so difficult for anyone in Ignite to do anything here, but an engagement, maybe early use, that Accursed Arm manages to find headed in the back.
You already see that they found one. They find two. Double kill already for the Androxus. Will he find the third? And he does. Can't escape behind the divider, as now you have moving into the back line. Quadra kill is there, and Inara is going to be swept out from under the rug like a magic trick almost instantly. Except this time, everything's in disarray for the Androxus. He gets a quadra kill. The Penta is not going to be found quite yet, thanks to his teammate. Going to be stolen away from him here as Rom runs into the back line, trying to steal some lives in the potential fight here. Spite gets used. They do manage to find a lot of damage onto the Rom almost instantly, and they do find the kill, meaning that they have now turned the tides here and forced the blue team back a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll see how much more Fatal Mission will be able to take with only the ROM gone. But again, the pressure's on the DPS. I mean, they have Genos Pocket, they have Torvald Pocket. ROM going down doesn't really make too much of a difference, honestly, for their composition. And you can see how that is coming into play right now. But Deja Vu maybe gets pulled back. Brazil keep him alive. He's coming in with this combo.
Oh, they use the Accursed Arm, but they almost get killed instantly as the time in space manages to snipe out and gets rid of the Inara. Now Imani's here. She's plugging out damage time and time again into different targets onto the side of Ignite Gaming. Is now things are making it not Gaming, excuse me, the other team, Red Team in this case, on the side of Fatal Ambition, we're going to have a few members on their side taken out. Now they're being pushed back towards their spawn. They have not really been able to make it back to cart at all. A lot of them are holding on to ultimates, two pivotal ults at that, Seismic Crash and Barrage, but Inara is going to be picked off almost instantly as now Rom finds an opportunity to run all the way into the back. Inferno Cannon melts down one. They're going to be able to find the other as well. Corvus makes it out, and they actually aren't going to be able to find it at all. They look like he was in a precarious position, but he's going to be able to make it out of this one.
maybe barely survives. Divino does get the chip damage with the low charge shot of the Chrono Cannon to confirm that here. But again, Ignite Gaming's comp, they just don't necessarily need all of their members. As long as they have the pockets and a DPS alive, I feel like no fight is unlosable. You know, when they have this set up here. But Setback early tanked by Ornstein, and they try to tank. They're gonna get on the objective actually, and now Deja Vu maybe too far out, but Andro, a lot of movement on him, will slip away, and they can just rely on their poke for now. I was mentioning earlier how Kubiz, I felt, was the only player at this level really utilizing Pyromania, and I want to mention it because we saw it being used earlier when they were fighting that big grouped up stack of the enemy team. He was hitting people around the corner all the time, but Cursed Arm will do the same thing, and that's how Deja Vu wants to start their attempt at this defense.
He's falling down, at least for a little bit of a float from Androxus to see if he can find that last shot. Doesn't manage to find it, but they are at least able to push him off. Thanks to the hyperdrive. Thanks for Torvald. 40 seconds before the match starts once again, as the score has been tied to a 1-1. I mean, this is a great look for both teams so far. To start things off at a 1-1, that's not easy, especially when you are leaps and bounds above the opposing side in terms of damage. 60k apiece, excuse me, on the blue team here on the side of Ignite Gaming. Very, very rough start for how Fatal Ambition are fighting this one.
Yeah, Fatal now starting to pick up some Bulldozer just out of fear of what's to come when Kubiz does finally press E and summon the dragon to catch them out. Depending on where it gets spent, though, they have decent poke. Headed with Bulldozer will just delete the dragon before they really manage to find anything with it. So we'll see how Kubiz plans to do that at the start of this. Looks like in Banana right away. Not sure if they have any real way to get through unless RC sneaks by, but they're watching it. They caught them on the far side, and they want to get in, but Headed is just doing all the damage, and Kubiz will find basically nothing.
Bonnie Dragon is there, and it gets melted down almost instantly. They at least do find the Inara here. They're going to find one pick for themselves. The dragon is gone. The threat is finished, but at least for the time being here, as they found two members already on the side of Fatal Ambition. Rom runs right on through all of them. They make their way all the way into the back line here. Zen is there. Doesn't have the spite up, so they can't really melt him, but they use the Accursed Arm, I believe, to see if they can get things started here. Seismic Crash on the retreat on Rom, but it's not going to be enough to cement themselves the kill. He does find a way out. The barrage gets used, and they actually manage to catch out one in the form of Zen on the side of Ignite Gaming here. As the Exile is just going to be used to lock down the Torvald. They're trying to find the damage, but he misses the first couple of shots, and no one's also there to focus down the Torvald thanks to the Exile. They make their way onto point, but they aren't going to be able to find the kills they need, as they find 2 kills for the Rom. A nice double. The spite's not going to be utilized to its maximum effectiveness. He tries to use it to get out, but he can't even escape, as now Ignite Gaming are going to have this objective captured.
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of pressure early with the dragon. I thought it wasn't going to do anything, but Headed got ran at by Ornstein. Couldn't keep shooting the dragon. Groundford thought he might be safe to not look at it, but ends up finding that first pick, and that lets them just kind of snowball the cap time in their favor here. Early aggression from them. Kubi's putting on a lot of poke. Look at that. Again, that AoE shots, just 600 around the corner. It's not a ton, but it's enough to force them away. Ornstein's going to be willing to get aggressive off of that, too, all the way in the back, and they find another pick with Divino overextended.
Goes all the way into the back line, manages to find one. They use the dragon as well, summon it, see what kind of havoc it can wreak. It manages to find one here. The second person that's going to go down on the team fight is going to be somebody on Ignite Gaming's own side. Genos is out of the fray, for right now at least. Going to use the Frostfire Glide to see if they can move all the way into the back line here, and see if they can catch anyone that might be waiting behind. Let's see if that's going to be the case, though. They don't really find anyone back there. Instead, they have 1:30 still on the clock and available to them. They're trying to find the picks here, as they manage to find one kill directly onto Torvald. Now they have to find better opportunities for themselves, as they manage to find more and more kills on the side of Fatal Ambition. Now they have to find their way back in. Double kill for the Zen already, as he's swinging his sword and managing to find the damage. Can he find another kill? And he does, in the right formation. Amani is gone, and now they're looking at Rom. He has to find his way out, but Androxus is there to peel for his teammates in the form of some good old-fashioned damage.
Yeah, great play by them there. Deja Vu finds 2 consecutive headshots onto Headed to get rid of him, and I feel like, I mean, their tanks are doing a decent job peeling here, but they're so aggressive. I feel like they can just get ignored, and Ignite runs to the point. Kubi's already did that, and he can't stay there for too long.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to be forced back a little bit longer. A double kill already for Ignite Gaming. As they find themselves in the driver's seat, they lose one of their members, but they find 2 in exchange for it. Even still, they can't push in how they would want to. Zin gets a little bit too overzealous. Is going to end up pushing around that corner. Gets picked off almost instantly as Rom runs into the back line directly. They're trying to make it back there. They do find some damage there. They find one kill thanks to the barrage. Well, they found the second. They do in the form of Victor. Now Rom is there. And he has to make his way out. Triple kill already for the Androx. His reversal goes up, but he won't be able to live for much longer as the Quadra is not going to be there. But Zen's at least going to cement the kill for themselves. 1 second still remaining, and that's going to be all she wrote as Fatal Ambition defends successfully.
RC Soldier was so impactful there near the end of that fight. Just he went behind, and even in my head, I'm thinking, just ignore him. I mean, I don't know what you really want to do to chase him down. Just don't turn around and deal with him. But he came back. The fight took too long. They couldn't actually break through. He managed to clean up a couple kills. Before I jump to the next loadout, I just want to make a quick note. Infinity Engine 4, your weapon doesn't consume ammo for 6.5 seconds after you use your shield. I don't see anybody running that card, but he's apparently found enough value out of it to commit to it. Interesting to see some variety coming in builds as we go further and further into this patch, into this meta. Some new Shaw developments, some new Atlas developments, apparently, on that side, but for now, that won't help them too much here, Fatal Ambition. They just need to win a mid. They need to be ready for this dragon that's going to come out with Kubies, and we need to hope RC can clean up on some chaos.
Roxas is in charge once again. Tries to see if he can find the picks. They use the 3-time in space, as well as the dragon. They exile one, but the dragon is already on their way to wreak havoc. It forces away the Inara here. They're trying to move in as best as they can. The dragon gets melted. They have to give that as much respect as possible. Nara immediately DRs and runs out the minute that she sees even a single fang of that dragon coming through the keep. As the Rom ends up getting reset here. The setback ends up getting utilized as they have to put up the wall. Spike gets used as well. They find one pick onto Rom, and this is a very methodical sort of mid fight here. Setback gets used, but it's not going to find its mark.
Yeah, they're still holding them off in here with Groundford continuing to collect cap time. They just can't really burn through them, but then now Deja Vu finally starting to pop off. Engaging comes up with the Accursed Armin down, but just Divino and Roopson trapped there, and the other tank's still alive.
Already finds one. Zianara is now done. Rom runs all the way into the back line and manages to find more and more damage there. Knocks up a couple members. Not going to find anything that cements the kill. Divider goes up. It's really eating a lot of those shots for Rom, but he might not be able to escape here, as a setback is going to get utilized, and they end up finding that pick that they were definitely waiting for. As a matter of fact, they were pushed so far back towards their spawn. The Tropic Breach gets dropped directly on point. They at least find one kill onto Victor. But for how much longer will they be able to survive here? As Zen is there, puts up the counter. They're not going to be able to quite find the deflect yet. They do have the dragon available to him. He is going to Frostfire Glide directly onto the point and cause another overtime touch, but Zen catches him on the way out. Same thing can be said for Torvald, as he finds his kill directly onto Atlas. Shots are ringing true. Use the reversal almost instantly. Overtime is a factor, but Fatal Ambition are going to capture this objective as they catch Rom on the way out.
Yeah, no way for them to really recontest there with Rom being the main tank in this composition. It's risky when you get caught in here. Groundford, speaking of getting caught in, actually catches Deja Vu, forces all those dashes, but Rom again caught, and if they can turn and burn, they could just keep pressuring this objective.
Rom moves all the way and manages to knock up one, but not really finding the damage. Victor's going to be the one that seems to be winning most of this engagement, as the core of his healing is going to keep him alive, as well as his innate lifesteal. Thanks to the cards he is running, he's going to take out one. Atlas, is going to find the last hit, as Victor found plenty of damage to set his teammate up for that kill. I don't think really too intense yet, as things have been following through. They do at least find a kill onto Torvald and trade things out with a kill on Zen, as blue and red team are clashing heads time and time again. They use the rewind to set himself back to see if he can get some more health, but all he's going to do is be taken out and deleted. The damage from Amani and Androx is going to be a little bit too much. Spike gets used. You can't reversal that one, and they're going to find a pick on the way in.
They might be able to... Ooh, I was going to say they might get picked on themselves on the way in, but they juke that time and space and find another one, both DPS down, and that's what you need with this double pocket composition. They're going to collapse.
10 seconds still remaining as they use the seismic crash. They manage to find one person, and they get the Rom to lock him down. Torvald was already in the grave at that point. As Rom tries to run out, the exile is going to get used here. They are going to find the kill directly onto him. They use the Amani Dragon to see if they can force things away the best way they possibly can, but that's going to be all she wrote. Fatal Ambition find themselves winning a 4-2 and the first point of the set.
And they just, once they finally win a mid, they kind of just run away with that, right? It was
right.
Pretty much firmly in their hands from that point forward. I feel like as we look at the stats, I feel like it's going to be heavily in favor of Ignite, just number-wise looking here. Yeah, look at that damage comparison. 164,000 for Deja Vu, 141,000 for Kubi's. So quite a bit their way, but everyone, it's a little bit more even. Actually, it's not even that much more even. I thought it would be more even just statistically, but Headed and RC still running away with it. Nowhere near as close, just them having the ability to cap the point and collectively soak up a little bit more damage with having an Inara, having an Atlas, ends up letting them run away with the game. That the Ornstein really could not keep up with Groundford on this objective.
Yeah, and it honestly made it that much harder, especially when a lot of those mids kept going back and forth, back and forth. But you brought up a very excellent point. Once Fatal Ambition won a lot of those mids, they were able to just make sure that they provided the most, the most pressing aggression that they had with their composition. I mean, the slash lines were there, 12-9 and 12, 9-8 and 10, and 3 and 9 for Groundford. Pretty much was just just bullied entirely by Ignite Gaming, but he was able to cement himself a lot of positioning and percentage for his team on the objective, even taking morale boost as well for the Seismic Crash. That's one of the first things I've seen on Inara that stood out to me. So they definitely played to their strengths, and it worked out well for them.
It was pretty effective, though. I mean, I feel like the morale boost ended up where every ult I saw him connect was pretty good. I wasn't down on, honestly, any of them here. But Fatal Ambition, after that win, that wasn't even their map pick. So they get to take us to a map that they want to go to, and that's going to be Splitstone Quarry here for them. So from one stone map to another, they're going to still feel comfortable. I'd hope it being their pick. But the Amani pick, I thought it was pretty solid for them. Kubi seemed to, again, be really impactful on it. I've yet to see him pick that character and not succeed. At least on an individual level, you know, of course, he's lost with it before, but just that purely individualistic level, he has looked almost always solid on it. But Splitstone Quarry, we can head into the picks and bans for this map and see what they're going to do differently here. Maybe the Amani doesn't go through for them. Maybe they ban it even on the side of Fatal if they really don't want to play into that kind of unorthodox pick.
Yeah, they might even give a little bit more respect to Kubi's, in all honesty. I mean, that is what you were saying, right? I mean, it's the fact that the Amani is definitely a threat to be recognized in Kubi's hands, and it's something that he's brought out more than once in the Brazilian region that we have seen. So maybe they will put it into the ban column. Seems so far, though, the pretty standard picks, except for the Buck. Maybe not so standard, but it is going to find its way into the ban column. Vivian Strix are going to be gone on the side of Fatal Ambition, as Buck is going to be picked on the side of Ignite Gaming. Same thing for the Mave. So they found their way to the ban column. Fatal Ambition, they feel pretty confident in going up against the Amani once again if they end up picking it.
Yeah, it's a map where it can work, but maybe not as effectively as Stone and Bazaar, where we've seen it kind of succeed before. But Ignite Gaming, I mean, Deja Vu is so good at this Androxus. Pick it up. Why not? You know, give him something that he's comfortable with. Let your team play more to what they prefer. Xin will get picked up, though, as more of a denial tactic from Fatal Ambition after RC Soldier was able to turn around quite a few fights playing that Yomi Xin on that map. So Fatal Ambition, they have a lot open to them, I think, still with those two flanks getting picked up. So Inara will go their way. Paired with Genos isn't necessarily something some teams like. Some teams lean towards it, but not everybody. But they're going to get a Corvus instead to shore up that weakness of having the single support. So Genos Corvus, they're going to need some good pocket targets. And if I'm Ignite, I might be looking to take one away from them, honestly.
Yeah. You have Genos Corvus already, so you have both pocket healers that are not only extremely powerful, but extremely reliable, already present on the side of Fatal Ambition. So they're going to run the triple DPS composition here with a Ying to see if that rounds things off, gives them plenty of sustainability. But I believe that leaves a Terminus open for them to potentially have. If they're looking for more survivability, they could even go for the Fernando if they feel confident. But they do have last pick, so they'll be able to tell whether they want that Fernando or not. They have a Leon on the side of Fatal Ambition. Seems like that shield can be broken quite easily. It might not be the Fernando here and the Koga to round things out. So Fatal Ambition have a very aggressive and strong composition.
Yeah, with the double hit scan, I think it really should be the Fernando, and it is. I mean, Barik, he has a big head. We've talked about this a million times. Barik getting run at by a Leon, run at by a Koga will survive less than a Nando with a 4-second personal shield will. But Fatal Ambition Ignite, I don't know if I hate either draft, honestly. Maybe I feel a little bit weird about the Ying plus solo DPS, but it can work totally fine on a map like Splitstone. Illusory Rift will function kind of like a slightly slower Inflame I think, most of the time for them to play off of. But I mean, of course, I'm scared of Fatal's draft. I mean, Genos
Right.
Corvus Koga, you never want to be on the receiving end of that. It can do quite a bit, no matter what the map. And I think Splitstone is a solid map for it, but triple DPS, this is one of those maps where when the meta was kind of split between teams that were playing triple DPS and teams that were playing double tank, this was always a triple DPS, I think, advantage map here. But actually, interesting. Looks like the drafts were actually flipped, so I'm going to have to turn that back around really quickly. They were given to me backwards, which actually makes sense with the bans, because why would Fatal Ambition ban Vivian and Strix on their own side, as I correct that mistake really quickly on my end here, as we can head now into the game with that being fixed. But also, there's been a minor roster change. Davino, someone who I said was, I think, important to the success recently of Ignite Gaming, Fatal Ambition, excuse me, is now not there. They swapped back in not PS1, who has been on their roster since the start, lose an off tank, but gain the ability to go triple DPS. I don't know. I still think Ignite Gaming's draft is crazy, with or without controllers. I was saying controller Koga might be nuts, but still going to be good on a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I entirely agree with that as well. But even still, you have a situation where you have two healers, two very powerful pocket healers on the side of blue here. That's going to make it even worse for them to fight back, or at least I should say fight into the side of red. They are netting themselves the first beginning percentages here, as Koga is making his way all the way into the back line, or at least trying to. He's fighting by fidget spinners. See if he can find some sort of opening for himself. Not going to be able to find much, though. They're playing pretty passively, and red is getting a lot of percentage in their back pocket. Fatal Ambition have a lot to their name right now.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of ground being taken by them, already surrounding Ornstein and stuck here on point on this Inara. Now actually trying to chase down a kill. I like that style of gameplay, trying to catch someone out, but he's trading pretty decently into this passive Victor, who is, I thought, doing quite a bit, but he's managing to stay alive through it, even with all those headshots coming in onto him. But pressure coming out. I mean, he's living with that Corvus and Genos pocket and through them, and Koga has managed to find the first.
It already seems like it's being a good opportunity for them to find their way into the sort of danger zone that Koga's pushing himself into. Blue has less percentage than red, but that gap is slowly being closed, especially once they get the Fernando. Void gripped as soon as he tries to escape. Is going to be picked off as now the spike gets utilized. Just as he crests that corner, they're going to find the damage, but they don't find the kill. So now the spike, it may have been a little bit of a waste.
Just wanted to spite Deja Vu, honestly, after after how he performed the last game, wanting to establish his dominance even with the win on their side. But Deja Vu, look at this play. Normally you don't see Koga being played as hard on the flank. They're making it work with a seismic crash, not really connecting on much of anything. RC falls to that Leon, and he's just going to keep trying to run away with this.
Seems like they're finding a good opportunity for themselves, especially since that alignment pays off in dividends for them. Overtime is a factor here. Now Fernando can't really make his way onto the objective. He's kind of having a bit of a harder time trying to even contest, really, as he gets void gripped almost instantly. A cursed arm is there. They do plug out the shots. They use all of the charges, but don't find the damage. I mean, don't find the kill, excuse me. They find plenty of damage, especially off of the back of a barrage. Fatal Ambition are going to lose the fight here. Deja Vu is going to keep anybody from touching the point, make them intangible, and they are going to sweep that one from under the rug. Ignite Gaming are going to take the first point away from Fatal, especially off of the back of a beautiful barrage from Victor.
It was a good, they win that fight at the end of it, but they lose the point because Deja Vu just blinks in and blinks out of the point. He just goes right in front of them and takes it away, more or less. Ornstein up top getting so much pressure onto ground for Nando. Really needs help. That is his one downside. He needs his team to play with him, and when your team's in a losing situation, you can't really flip it around. Groundford now falls while trying to retreat, and Ignite just bowl over the aggressive forward hold from Fatal Ambition. But they're set up. They're set up here for potentially a defense. Depends on how this fight goes. And now PS1 not confident in dueling Deja Vu on this Koga. They have this ground being held, but no one's watching their backline, and Roopson gets run over.
Yeah, they're going to take out one of their healers, and the same thing can be said for Zen. The flank is gone. Now they have a bit of a problem on their hands, as Androxa seems to be the next one on the menu of things to really try and deal with. This way they're going to be able to find that kill, though, but they do find enough damage to where he won't be re-peeking any sort of angle anytime soon. The cart is still rolling right on through, and Victor is just popping off with those headshots, finding the damage, but it's still not going to be enough to cement any kill. Meanwhile, the cart has been rolling this entire time, uncontested, unabated. Koga ultimate gets used to force the Fernando back, Void Grip, and forces out the Immortal on the side of red. Fatal Ambition don't have this one locked down for themselves. Ignite Gaming are still sort of steamrolling their way right on through to a potential victory. Barrage gets used, but they don't find the damage enough to be able to find the kills or submit themselves even a remote lead in terms of the objective here. They find damage and they have stalled it out a little bit, but there still isn't enough that through time and space are going to get used, but it's not going to find its mark still.
Yeah, they're still holding there. They tried to use the Seismic Crash on the objective, but ends up falling for it. And the rest of them, I mean, maybe they can turn it around. They have this double pocket composition, but I think they're smart to disengage here, just take a lot of ground and make them have to push into them so they can kind of find weaknesses in their comps into letting them hold and spawn. But they're going to have their tank back up in time. Doesn't look like it, so Deja Vu will have to run himself towards that objective, maybe, if he's going to be the one to touch. And he even gets a kill on the way in, so now it's a 4v4, and the Inara comes in to replace him.
Koga was able to touch, even caused the overtime, and like you said, Inara now takes the spot of where Koga was. They find a pick on the way in, and they find themselves an overtime timer. They've made their way all the way back to the objective as they find not one, but two. And now you have the Fernando directly on the objective as well. Androxus goes there, says nope, backs himself out of that one, and Ignite Gaming are to find themselves the 2-0.
A little bit of a miracle initiation there by the Koga, honestly. The fact that he catches someone standing in the way of mines and not really looking, and then gets to the point, and then gets out right when Ornstein gets there. I mean, really everything kind of, the stars align for Ignite Gaming to be able to run away with that. Even into some of these hard matchups, I would say, on their side, the Koga playing into an Androxus, not normally the easiest to do. Andro just hits 2 headshots, and Koga's basically one and done, unable to keep himself going after that. But just making it work into this hard matchup. Even with Haven being bought, he's able to still win those duels where I feel like they decided to not PS1, and that's where those double pockets really come into their favor.
We'll have to see if these double pockets continue to even pop off when Cauterize comes online. When the game goes on even a little bit longer, but that's hard to even say, really. I mean, that's still a lot you have to heal through, and the damage amp is still there, whether you Cauterize the healing or not. 19% for Fatal Ambition already. There's now Ignite Gaming have 3 ultimates up for themselves. Kubi's in headed, find a good one-on-one trade. They're now plugging in more and more damage. Enlightenment is there, but he's not going to be able to find the mark. Believes he was going to try and go a different direction, and Victor runs the opposite way of the Enlightenment. And Tropic Breach is going to be used here. They do find a good objective to at least stall for a little bit longer before they can make their way back to the point. Fatal Ambition are here, and they've made their way back. They're finding the damage, but they're not quite finding the kills they may be looking for.
I love the way that they fought that there when they spent the Entropic Breach on the point just to say, yeah, don't cap while we're respawning. Give us some time. Come on, man. Play nice, and no one caps, and it gives Fatal Ambition, makes them lose a lot more cap time than they would have had otherwise. Counterspace doesn't find anything here, but I love how Ignite are playing this. They're playing this so carefully, and they're going to be able to force out the Immortal as well.
They use the Immortal, and that's going to be a big damper to how they'll be able to hold on here. 78% to 18, a 60% differential right now between Fatal Ambition and Ignite Gaming. As Koga's, of course, trying to find the damage in the Zen. Seems like he wants to party a little bit as he moves in onto the Zen. Doesn't find the kill, but does force the positioning to, does force Zen to reposition against the Koga here. Trying to find the shots around the corner, not going to find much. Enlightenment gets used once again, but doesn't find its mark or find the damage.
Yeah, unfortunate. They're just tried to, I think, chip away at Headed, but they just can't get that connect up there. Headed. Really hard for them to contest with no one really able to go vertical on their team, but now they're going to group back up. But Penny is totally caught off guard by RC Soldier there in the back line. This has been such a long, grindy fight. Double comeback, not enough to let Fatal Ambition kind of run away with it, but RC can't get anything with this fight.
Kubi's actually lives in the back line, and Nora gets healed up almost instantly. That accursed arm doesn't mean anything to the boys on Ignite Gaming right now as they kill one, put off the wall to make sure nobody else can get there. Overtime is still, of course, a factor as they now have captured once again a 3-0 already for Ignite Gaming. Spike to get out of that situation. and he's going to be able to live for a little bit longer. But now Ignite Gaming have their foot on the gas and even managed to get one as teammates are respawning on the side of Fatal Ambition.
Yeah, and we'll see if they manage to keep up this pressure here with the respawns coming ahead. It's still not up quite yet, but Deja Vu wants to keep going to catch them during their downtime while they're waiting for the respawn. Loser Rift, though, defensively spent as they go in. RC Soldier, though, real quick, catches him with that extra healing, and he's willing to get even more aggressive.
It seems like it's paying off for him, though, for a little bit, as Zen finds not only one, but finds two. A nice double kill, and some more credits in the back pocket of our boy. As Penny finds a kill directly into Entroxus here. So that's already a 2-for-1 trade. More in favor of Fatal Ambition, obviously. As Hedda is now conceding positioning they had before. They're eating a lot of damage, trying to escape. Enlightenment once again does not find its mark. 3 times in a row. You think third time's a charm, but not in the case of Kubi's, as that ultimate is going to go wide once again.
Yeah, unfortunate by them trying to make it work, but I think just expected Hedda to drop maybe and tried to predict it, but PS1 didn't get anything off on there with trying to drop. Gets dropped by the other one on the other side, trying to get back to that spawn here. RC again in the back. I feel like they're not going to fall for this twice, right? They know he's back there. They know he's going to go in for something, and now making himself known with that over there. But look at that from this rotation here around the back. He comes in, just distracting them so much, though. They're just letting him get away with murder, and no one's even going to kill RC during that spite.
They use the spite as well, but all it is just to stall for a little bit longer. Now they have to reposition back up, wait for their team to regroup. They take care of one. And now Headed is going to find the last kill in that little engagement. Koga has to use the ultimate to get out, buy himself a little bit more time so he can use that gauge to escape a very precarious scenario that he's found himself in. Because now there's only 20 seconds still remaining. Maybe Ignite Gaming can make their way back to the cart here. It seems like they both get dealt with almost instantly. Ornstein finds one. 10 seconds remaining as Kubi's finds another. They are on their way back to the cart. A nice double kill for Leon as the princess is making her way back to the throne. The objective is going to keep on moving forward as the clock has now struck 0. Overtime being a factor, and through time and space is there. They might try and use a lot here if they feel like they can convert it.
Yeah, maybe. They're already getting ults used against them with Zeed's falling right away as we get the Sky Cam up here. But Kubi's is alive on the side. That's exactly where they needed to go, and it finally connects. He was behind the spotlight. Groundford. No, Groundford. He was so close. He just went around the corner of the spotlight and lost it. You can't break a line of sight with the cart when it's that close. He committed the Cardinal main tank sin and let it roll in. And I gotta say, though, that was definitely the closest 4-0 I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is just unlucky, I would say, and I agree with you entirely. It is genuinely the closest 4-0 that I've ever seen as well. I mean, it was really, really back and forth. I mean, even still, when they were able to convert the points that they were, it was 0 both times. There was no timer left. It was overtime. They were able to make it back. They were able to get the touches and make sure they traded out time and time again, and it ended up paying off in their favor. Played very well on the side of just on the winning team there. It just made it a lot better.
Don't mind me with those backwards names. Again, I was sent this the other way around, so I'm going to fix that really quickly, and we should have that flipped over in no time. And there we go there. Fatal Ambition Headed. Kind of ran away with it on the damage side of things for his team, but really close was Kubi's, and to the surprise of no one, though. I mean, paired up with a Genos and a Corvus, definitely the Leon is supposed to be the star of that game, and we'll see if the KDAs reflect that as well. 17-3, so yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you're gonna pick double pocket when both of your DPSs combined manage to go 27-6 with 19 assists across the board for them. Tough game for not PS1. It makes sense though. I mean, he wasn't even playing earlier, kind of just subbed in like, when they needed him most, he went 2-11, subbing in for Divino. Unfortunate game for the Androxus being taken off the bench.
Right. Yeah, I mean, 6-5 for Headed, 6-8 for RC Soldier, Groundford, 0-8-9, 0-5-7 for Roopson. I mean, overall, just a rough game for Fatal Ambition, despite how they looked on when they started this set. Seems like the Ignite Gaming definitely got some more fight left in them, as they've been able to find more and more wins under their belt, or let's just say more and more kills. They've been doing very, very well in Splitstone. A 4-0, but one of the closest 4-0s I've ever seen, as well as you were phrasing it, Kresnik. So I'm excited to definitely see the next game and see how things are going to go from here on out. That much is for certain.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see the next game too, but we can't get there quite yet. We're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we'll be right back with the rest of the set.
Welcome back, guys, into the PPC, Paladins Pro Circuit community broadcast. Now we're at a score that's tied up 1-1 with Fatal Ambition versus Ignite Gaming as we head right into Game 3.
I wish we could head straight over into Game 3, but for now I have to prep us a little bit. But what I can tell you while I get things ready is that we are going to be heading towards Jaguar Falls. So that's the map that Fatal Ambition want to go to after, unfortunately, getting completely countered out in a strange way. The longest 4-0 again I've ever seen for the side of Ignite Gaming. But Jaguar Falls is a map where, again, I've been mentioning it a lot lately, but you feel confident if you're going to Jaguar Falls, and Fatal should probably feel confident even on the backside of a 4-0. They gave up Corvus and Genos and Koga and Leon. Yeah, you're probably going to lose that game. They had a chance, they had some fights that really went their way. The caps were really last minute kind of miracles, but at the end of the day, you gave up a very, very difficult comp to beat in general. Yep. So we'll see how they can maybe find another answer here. Fatal Ambition do maintain first pick as we head into picks and bans.
Yep. Let's go ahead and get right into picks and bans, as I'm interested to see how they'll adjust this draft this time. Obviously, not going to let them have the double pocket again. I mean, come on now. You can't imagine that
There's
to
no
be
way,
the case
right?
Twice in a row. There's no way they let through the double pocket. Okay, so you get rid of Buck, you got rid of Vivian. Now, here's where things start changing up. It's Maeve, okay. Cool.
Same bands as
Now
earlier.
who will be the last band? Okay, so it's still Atlas, but this time there should be Genos on one side, Corvus on the other side. What will the first pick be? It'll be Corvus. Now Ignite Gaming. What are they gonna go for?
I wanted to type in not Genos just
There
to
we go.
mess with you, but it is going to be Genos that they pick up there as their first pick. Again, to deny the double pocket. Pockets are so crucial for a lot of different characters here, and ROM will follow. You get rid of one of the counters by having the Genos for yourself, and you force Fatal to find some other answers of their own. So I don't hate the start from them. I am kind of shocked that they let Strix go, even though this isn't the best Strix map. It's still absolutely a playable Strix map. And they were kind of prioritizing it earlier, but Fatal Ambition, they're going to get their Xin, they're going to get their Victor, a lot of damage there, potentially. You have the Guillotine also to execute any tanks that they get. ROM will go down with it if they focus them, and could be a tough game for that ROM if another counter gets picked up by Fatal before the end of this draft.
Yeah, already it seems like this is a good draft for both sides. I mean, you have the Cassie to sort of counter out whatever tank they may go, which has to be Inara. Inara is left open, so Fatal Ambition definitely need themselves a strong point presence here. As Corvus, Zen, Victor is actually going to be Terminus, which is still a good response, honestly. Not the worst thing. Terminus Khan, we actually see Inara unpicked, unbanned
Probably.
this game. I can only imagine that would be the case. You have already both of your frontliners. You need another DPS on the side of Ignite Gaming. It's going to be Androxus. Okay, Inara unpicked, unbanned. That's almost unheard of, but in this game, Fatal Ambition and Ignite Gaming aren't going to be too keen on picking up that frontliner. How do you feel about the drafts, how they formulated so far?
I'll be honest, I don't know how I like the end of the draft for Ignite Gaming. I almost would have rathered like a Grover or something just to have some extra supplementary healing for a ROM and an Ashe. Yes, they can heal themselves a little bit, but you really want something else, I think, to kind of support them, but they're not going to have it. Going to be a lot of pressure on the Genos and a lot of pressure on the tanks to find a way to keep themselves alive, I think, as the biggest thing here. But if they win fights kind of explosively, right, if they run them down, if they make those fights end immediately, it can still work. Just depends on how cleanly they can win these fights, but we can head into game and take a look at how they can make that happen.
Yeah, let's see how they formulate strategies around this as they head into Jaguar Falls, and that's going to be extremely interesting to see all of this. Oh yeah, and the Divino is back. He is not PS1 this time around. Just pointing that out. Divino is back onto the team, and it's going to be extremely cool to see how he's going to play with his team now. He is back and not being subbed out for a little bit.
I am going to say, I do find it kind of funny that he was like, fine, I'll do it myself. He's not PS1,
Yeah.
then goes 2-11 and immediately goes back out for Divino to come back in to play Stun Khan, interestingly enough. Something that kind of fell completely to the wayside after the nerfs, but I still think personally that it has merit. Interesting to see how they play it out. Penny, the only one who grabbed it, but hey, immediate stun. Can they find the kill in time? Maybe not, but Penny's still caught in.
Already moving in, they use the shoulder bash to try to find the way to escape, but Khan provides a perfect body block. Makes it so that it is hard to get out of this situation. Tries to use the commander's grab to go in, but all he's going to find is some more crossbow bolts in the face. As Cassie gets that last hit, the kills are still going towards the side of blue here. As Penny has now made their way back to the objective, but can't really make it out. Beautiful whirlwind as well. Moves directly in front of Ashe before she even hits the button and make sure that he is body blocking her. They get another kill on Penny. Very well played.
I'm really surprised that RC isn't going guillotine here against ROM and Ashe, but I guess they just value that poke a little bit higher with them trying to holding and doing some good damage here. Divino does fall a decent amount of time there, but already Spite for RC. He is playing insane this round so far, and see if Fatal Ambition can figure this out, even with a player deficit right now.
It seems like RC is still at least able to find some spread out damage for the most part. Siphon goes up. It's a few crossbow bolts, but not going to find much more than that. So we have so much available to Fatal Ambition in terms of percentages, but they're at least evening it up on the side of Ignite Gaming. They've made it back to the objective here. The Tropic Reach drop directly onto the objective. They trade 1-for-1. The Accursed Arm comes through, and they manage to cancel it a little bit too early. Opt to not use it there, as he's going to plug in as many damage moving around, schmooving if anything, to see if he can find more and more damage into different targets. Fatal Ambition, though, are going to be able to find some plenty of kills towards their side here. They kill one after the other. Pity makes their way back, but all that happens is they get body blocked once again, slam dunk on an Ashe, and that's going to be Fatal Ambition capturing the first point.
Zeeds with the sleeper, the submarine Genos ultimate, catching Divino underground over there. But I actually really, that StunCon got a double kill, by the way. We were kind of saying, wow, surprised someone in chat just said that GG trolls for the fact that he picked it up, but StunCon clearly working out for them so far. But he's not there to stop Ornstein now with him being able to cut right to the middle of the team. It's so hard for him to beat Headed for now, but he doesn't need to with support from the Assert Dominance from Penny.
Already it seems like it's locking down most, if not all, of the situations here by Secret, or by Sun, I should say. Gets overpowered directly off the side. RC Soldier finds one pick, and Divino has found the other. Two characters down on the side of Ignite Gaming, make it a third in the form of Androxus. Khan is there, but as soon as he tries to move out, Rom is going to get snatched right up and dealt with.
StunCon's still pretty good. Another 2 kills for him being up there. Definitely less consistent than Storm of Bullets, and it will fall off a little bit harder as we get further into the game, but if you want to win a game quick, it's definitely a way to do it. Aggression early, though, from Deja Vu. Accursed Arm spent, but nothing to be found just yet. As the rest of Fatal Ambition disperse.
Yeah, it seems like the most part, the Accursed Arm does get used in at least a decent manner. They find some damage plugged into a single target. Here, Zen is there, uses the spite, but gets killed as soon as he's using it. That's gonna hurt, if anything, the ultimate economy on the side of Fatal Ambition. They don't have that to shred through Rom or through Ashe anymore. It's gonna be unlucky for them, and they already killed Terminus. So on the way in, it's gonna be a lot harder for them to try to find this opportunity as Khan has to back up. Divino gets out by using the Commander's Grab. He's gonna be able to live for a little bit longer, but Rom runs all the way through. Knocked up is headed, pretty much skewered by a crossbow bow.
Look at RC though, almost finds the kill on Kubi's, but Megaton peels himself out of that dangerous situation with him getting knocked away from that line of sight. Ornstein is really just running by. He's just a drive-by onto the enemy team now. Hasn't been able to do too much kill-wise, but definitely applying a lot of pressure for the team. But I wanted to watch Kubi's a little bit more, because this Cassie, a pick that's prioritized a little bit more in Brazil than North America, I think it's performing decently well. Rubson, unfortunate use of that projection. It's caught in danger, and Fatal Ambition are just collapsing.
It seems for the most part, though, that Ignite Gaming are going to take this one by storm. They can't make their way back to the point. Divino is losing due to that verticality, and that's that's about the Khan experience right there, fighting against an Androxus. All he does is jump up, or at least dash up, and you say, I see. I have chosen death, and then you fall. That's pretty much all that happens there. Androxus having a commanding lead over that Khan duel right there, and that ends up with them having a one-on-one tie right now, not only in game points, but also in round points, as they have to try and see if they can sort of regain control over the objective. Fatal Ambition did great during the mid. They just have to find a way to cement that.
Yeah, they need to manage to keep it going. I think they did a decent job with it, though. I don't think it was a terrible push. I think Ignite it's really hard for them to react to the ROM that's running into the backline a lot of these times, the way that they're playing it. We'll see if they can maybe have the Khan lock him down a little bit harder, but interesting by Ornstein. We see a lot of prioritization on Shattered Essence in every other region, but not here. He doesn't want more health. He wants resets and more runs because he doesn't think they're going to be able to stop him when he tries to make it happen.
Moving all the way into the back here as Rom runs right on through. They find a pick on one. They move into another one. Khan gets knocked up, and now you have a 1-for-1 trade already with the Siphon being placed up. So many different kills already on both teams, and when the smoke clears, it seems like it's a 3v3 more than anything. As he gets tossed up, Shatter falls right on down. Rom gets killed, and Fatal Ambition now have regained control over this objective. Despite a very back and forth mid, Divino is going to step up, probably see if he tries to get an overpower here. If anything, might try and go for one of the tanks, and he is going to go for it, but misses. And that's going to be refunded to him, but that's extremely unfortunate, especially with him trying to stall on the way in.
And I don't know if they can actually stop this Ashe. They actually still get the touch anyway, with the ROM coming around the background for going to do as much as he can on this objective, but not find too much with the rest of his team falling apart, getting him surrounded. Unfortunate. If that hits, I think that's a different look for them because Divino can come back to the fight. Still has to fight the Cassie, but it's a much easier duel for him. But RC doesn't want to take this lying down. He's already getting aggressive, as he should be doing with his Zin, and this barrage might clear enough space for them to get some overtime.
Seems like it is going to plug in some damage into Rom for a little bit, but in the long run, he's just going to run right out of that precarious scenario. as overtime is now a factor. Seems like the scores are tied pretty much at 99 to 99. Whoever gets the next touch is going to be the one that cements their lead here. Headed plugs in damage into Rom, gets grabbed almost instantly. Entropic Breach gets dropped down directly onto the objective, as now Headed is finding more and more targets to shoot into, but less and less space to run away from, as now Red Team is going to take this one by storm. Ignite Gaming capture the objective.
Yeah, Ignite there near the end of the fight, having all those beefy self-sustaining bodies, just having Groundford have to throw himself away for it. Big advantage for them, and Groundford throws himself away again, not realizing how aggressive Ornstein's willing to get. He's deep in the back line, forces them maybe into the time and space. They evade it for now, but they're walking to the spawn.
Yeah, and it seems like they have a very good zone going for them. If anything, they're forcing them all the way back, not even letting up an inch. As 2 minutes is on the clock, but this might be an eternity for Fatal Ambition here. They have to find a way back to the car. They at least find one pick, so that puts a damper on the offense of Ignite Gaming, as they do have to concede some of the pressure they were able to at least gain here. They try and force them back. They at least find not only one kill, they might even find a couple more to even the odds here and make it more towards their favor. Ash gets surrounded and body blocked, and that's going to be all they wrote for Penny.
Yeah, Penny gets caught out as the fight goes on there, and I think maybe using those ultimates so early really doesn't help. They ran in with the assert dominance. Conceptually, yeah, could have worked if they had the cart been a little bit closer, but it wasn't. It wasn't even close at all, so the team can't catch up in time. The cart's still going through, and the healer can't get anyone to stay alive here. Fatal Ambition, though, smartly disengaged, but they missed the grab on Ornstein. Spite makes up for it, but they still had to trade 1-for-1.
Already 1-for-1 trade, just as you were saying before, Kresnik. With a minute left on the clock, the damage is being plugged into Divino as he's trying to take return fire shots into the enemy team here. Siphon goes up, he gains a couple of charges, but will he be able to live for much longer? The Corvus healing says yes, but the enemy team obviously doesn't want to make that a reality. So now they're looking at the Terminus as Deja Vu moves around. They are going to be able to find the kill on him, but they trade out 1-for-1. Divino is down, Penny on the side, still maintaining adequate control of the staircase here. Rom all the way into the back where Headed is, eating a lot of damage, but not really finding any sort of opportunity to lead well. RC Soldier goes down, so now Terminus has to back up, absorbs a couple shots into the Siphon, but it's not going to be enough.
Trading on defense is always going to be a net positive, I think, to the defending team. So you trade Ornstein for RC, the defending team still gets an advantage. And Groundford, I think they didn't realize he was there. I think he could have waited there a little bit longer, but he wanted to help his team. And Penny uses the second assert dominance of this round to go for Headed, but body blocks by Roops and keeps him alive.
Already, it seems like a pretty precarious position that the team has found themselves in, as Terminus is forced to use the reanimate here. Over time being a factor means that no one can really step off of the cart on the side of Ignite Gaming, as they have to try and make their way in through time and space. Is there, manages to find the mark. They find one kill directly onto the Corvus here, gets Void Grip, Cataclysm goes out, manages to land the hit almost instantly as Divino goes down. Over time still being a factor, but people are not going to be able to live for much longer on the side of really Fatal Ambition. Terminus moves in and steps off the cart. That's a 3-1 already for the red team.
So interesting to see. I mentioned this yesterday, and it's crazy to see how it's happening in multiple games in the same region. I said the Brazilian region is they're just willing to spend ults. They will pop any ult to hold a point or try to capture a point. And we saw a Cataclysm come out, we saw Assert Dominance, Time and Space, we saw 3 ultimates from Fatal Ambition's side as well, even though the Entropic Breach was just a little bit earlier. All that they really have to fall back on is Divino's overpower. It's not a ton that they can really rely on for that in Ignite Gaming KD-wise. I mean, look at those DPS. They are being enabled so hard by the Genos boost here. So a lot they can get. A lot they've been getting out of that. But Fatal Ambition, again, if the overpower is good, it will basically just win them the fight as long as they find the right person.
They're just trying to find better opportunities. As soon as Androx is in the air, he says, oh no, verticality does not serve you this time. You may have the high ground, but I've got an overpower. Drags him right on in, and they get that opening pick. So now red team is sent a little bit reeling towards the fences here to find some sort of way to regain control over the objective. Spike gets used, but he misses it, and that's unfortunate for him as Androxus makes his way back. The Accursed Arm is there, trying to find an opportunity to spread out some damage, but all he does is fire into a Terminus Siphon as the Corvus Entropic Breach is dropped. They are finding a lot of damage onto the tanks on blue team, but on the side of Fatal Ambition, but they aren't going to be able to find the kills here. Corvus is healing a little bit too much, and it's actually paying off in dividends for him. They find not only one, but several characters on the side of Ignite Gaming. The Corvus healing, keeping them up and well enough to be able to cement themselves a lead in that engagement. Very well done, and with comeback mechanic, I don't think they're going to be able to contest the point.
I mean, Rubson literally just carries that fight there, honestly, by the end of it, keeping his whole team alive and well through that. They make it actually, Raw manages to run in, but he instantly gets spited and burnt down by the team, but they trade Divino for it. They're getting dangerously close to ultimates on the side of Ignite Gaming.
They are. They're trading out 1-for-1 here as they manage to get rid of Penny. He misses the shots that would have ended up with the life of Corvus in his hands, but they aren't going to be able to find it there through time and space. Man does manage to find Corvus, but it's not going to be enough for them to cement any sort of point or lead on the objective, as now blue team, aka Fatal Ambition, are going to capture an objective and make sure they have a 2-3 score.
I mean, Rubson, he only died to the time and space. It's like the second time in a row, I believe it's happened, but the fact that they have to do that just to kill him shows how slippery Corvus can really be. Fatal Ambition now using an aggressive ultimate. Barrage, not finding much, but they're all grouped up, and that's going to do so much damage.
Oh my goodness, the barrage actually ends up going through, and that changes the tide of the fight in its entirety. As they're going to have to try and push into this choke point. Khan wants to move in, manages to grab the ROM here, but the resilience is going to keep him alive just for a little bit longer. He just wants to try and draw eyes, comes right up and over, and he's going to be able to find himself a nice triple kill. Genos manages to get that last hit that would have given Androx the Quadra, but he's not going to be able to get it here. He is going to be able to net himself a triple and have a good zone for the rest of his team. Reversal goes up, and they pick off Terminus as they're making their way to a zone.
Yeah, Groundford just a little bit impatient, not waiting for his team to catch up to him, and now Fatal Ambition trying to find some way to get through this next minute and a half. He sees the unlucky, I guess. Not unlucky, but not the best decision, and Kubies gets the kill, so a gift from Divino to the members of Ignite Gaming, letting them get a little bit more aggressive on this defense, because they're completely surrounded.
Minute and 5 seconds still remaining on the clock, as things are becoming a little bit more aggressive for them. It seems like for the most part, though, that the fight is still going towards the side of red on Ignite Gaming, as they're finding kill after kill to cement their zone even more so, as Androxus has to try and nether step his way out. He just barely scrapes alive with his health pool being extremely low. As 40 seconds is still there, they are able to hold on for a little bit longer, but for how much longer is the question, as the Cataclysm gets dropped, or not the Cataclysm, excuse me, nothing gets dropped in the long run. RC Soldier is there to at least find the pick, but there is only 25 seconds left on the clock at this point in time. They're going to be able to make it back to the cart, but they have no time to roll this one in. It's going to be a long uphill battle to make this work out for the boys in blue.
Divino charging this back up really quickly, though, after that last ultimate. I'm shocked to see him at 72% without even using Storm of Bullets. I get that he does have morale, too, but still, a big impact ultimate. Good to see it charging quickly for their sake. But this push, like you said, long way to go. Big uphill battle. RC Soldier, though, climbs that hill quickly with that whirl. Might already be getting pushed away. Saved by the Term, though, which is probably why they picked him up. Backline dive from Warnski, and exactly the same strategy every single time, and it just keeps working.
They find plenty of damage into so many different people, and that's going to be an overtime timer available to them, but it may not even last for very much longer. They're sort of grouped up in that corner right there as they want to try and find the damage. Manages to make a very beautiful flick as Ignite Gaming now cement a 3-2 lead still. And now it is up to them to try and capture this point. Capture the objective is what they need to do in this scenario to start trying to cement a 2-1 lead for them as things are coming down to the wire.
Look at the kills on Deja Vu, by the way. I mean, a combined, I think, 42 kills for both DPSs on the side of Ignite Gaming, so definitely playing up to their Genos. It's showing what that damage boost can do. Tough game, though, for the tanks, I think, on the side of Fatal. Find it hard for them to survive. It's a really hard game for Divino into Androxus, and Penny, I think, shooting over the shield, so quite a bit going on there for them. Take a look at Zeed's build, see if there's anything unique here. Nothing too crazy, less relatively normal, but leaning a little bit into light years on a kind of close range map. But an early scout will deny anything tricky that Fatal want to do. They just got to play off their ultimates and utilize this overpower.
Khan is moving into the back as soon as he notices that ROM is back there. Cataclysm gets dropped. Will they be able to find the kill onto the Victor that they're dedicating so much for. Overpower is there. They do find the Victor kill. Overpower is there as well. Rom comes right around, and for a second that ended, that decal right there made it seem like Rom was the one that bursted right on into that wall, but it's actually going to be Ash. The Overpower gets thrown and utilized. They do find the pick, but at the same time, the Entropic Breach gets dropped through time and space. It's not going to be able to find its mark. They kill so many people on the side of Fatal Ambition, and they net themselves more percentage on the point for themselves as they use the assert dominance in the back line. They get grabbed and stunned for a little bit longer, but that Rezil's not going to matter as much. I mean, it's going to matter a lot fighting against that Khan. They do manage to get the kill thanks to Divino, but the barrage is there. Androx comes around on the side. I'm not too sure what their game plan is. They're running in one after the other time and time again.
I think they thought they were going to sit by pillars, so they wanted to go get aggressive into them, but they ended up pushing into Sun, so they catch one out, and the Nornskeen just trying to get the follow-up. Not really able to do it there, but 89%, I don't know if there's any way they can get in. Penny's going to try Soul Deja Vu, but just a second too late, and here comes an island, and slowed by Groundford, who just deletes him from full to gone, but some ultimate still left for Ignite. They might be able to pinch these two on the side.
2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, of course, as they've just now captured the objective on the side of Fatal Ambition. Rom runs through, manages to knock them over like some bowling pins, but they will stay resilient and make sure they don't get knocked down, if anything, for the trouble. Moves right on through, tries to catch the spike, tries to catch him running back in the spawn. RC Soldier commits a lot to that, but makes his way right on back out thanks to the Corvus healing and a little bit of extra help from the Billows. So now Groundford has to try and find his way back onto a more advantageous spot for him. As the Cataclysm gets used, Battle Shout goes out, so he's going to eat all of that. As Androxus moves into the back line, they grab him, stop the reversal, and manage to get the kill. But now Rom can run freely into the back line and through a number of different people. As RC Soldier finds a trade, they end up making that work for him more so on the side of Ignite Gaming, but Fatal Ambition clapped back just as quickly. With a minute and 30 seconds remaining, the cart is now cresting towards the end and managed to catch Genos just as he was about to make his way back into the spawn doors. Spite is up. They do have plenty of ultimates available to them.
It's a brutal stagger, and I think whoever goes and gets spited, right, and stunned in a barrage, who can even touch nobody? Fatal Ambition, they just roll it in relatively uncontested because of that.
Fatal Ambition are going to be the ones that walk away with this game and break the tie. What was 1-1 is now 2-1 in favor of Fatal Ambition. And that's why I brought up the Spite, Kresnik. I'm like, he's just holding on to it. The minute that somebody moves in, he's going to get ulted, and that's exactly what we saw. They're going to burn through it almost instantly. And Terminus wasn't able to touch, let alone even use his reanimate, which is a very, very great sign for how that match ended up going. Jaguar Falls is going to go towards the other team and break the tie. As now we look at the slash lines and the stats here, 180,000 damage for RC Soldier, 184,000 for Hedda as well. Is there anything that stands out here to you on the slash line stat, on the stats page?
Nothing too insane. I think the damage from both tanks pretty impressive, even though they were Luminary boosted. Just seeing Ornstein and Penny both at 100,000 compared to the relatively low damage on the other side. I noticed that Divino was struggling to keep up in the damage department at the very beginning, just below the Corvus, but did eventually manage to get ahead of his team's support by the end of the game. Still, though, these DPS being pocketed by that Genos, 28 kills across the game for Deja Vu. Quite a few deaths, but, I mean, they were looking to get aggressive, right? Double off-tank, one flanker, and a Genos. Like, you're going to have to go in, or you're not going to be able to play off your win condition.
And also, shout out to Genos as well for hitting some amazing through time and space.
Yeah,
almost always on Corvus. Like, Rubus all the way in the back line, 44 assists and 49 assists for both supports, respectively. Both of them were really doing their job. They were doing the thing, and it made it a lot harder for them to really try and find any sort of advantage on either side when both of those were alive, which is why I definitely wanted to shout out Genos right there, managing to take matters into his own hands and managing to catch out those clutch through times and spaces that left them with no healing.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Him specifically catching out the Corvus after a projection, it's really easy to get that shot, but it's hard to predict where he's going to go. If you get the prediction, he's dead. He's not going to be able to escape that, but heads up play by Zeeds to find them, even if it didn't end up getting them the win. But map 4 is going to be coming up. Ignite Gaming, being the ones who lost that last map, get to make their own choice. They want to go to Fish Market. So Fish, I mean, What else can we say about this map that we haven't? The point, it's called Fish Market because the point's a fish bowl. You're stuck in the middle of everybody. They're all watching you. They're poking the glass, burning your health away. So you can't really play a point-sided game a lot of the time. You kind of have to play on the sides. You have to try to play aggressive, wrap around the enemy team, or become a stalwart wall that really won't let them in at all. But we can head into picks and bans and see how they're going to end up drafting on this very different map from Jaguar Falls.
Yeah, Fish Market, it has been a while since we've seen this map be willingly drafted into the PPC map pool, if anything. A lot of players will typically go to this map, but when you have the bans that we went over earlier today, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, they banned some of the standard picks as well. Brightmarsh is not available to be played here. They haven't been able to pick that for themselves, which is why we went to Jag, and we haven't seen Bright immediately after that, right? So it's definitely a very, very interesting map pool to see. They get rid of Strix, they get rid of Vivian, Maeve, Ashe are gone, and both pocket healers are up once again for either team to make use of them.
And Corvus seems to be the prioritized one in this set a lot of the time, but again, Fatal Ambition, they're not going to make the same mistake that they did the last time. They're going to take the Genos for themselves and pair it with an Andro, so they're taking that away from Deja Vu on the other side, who's looked very comfortable on it. Now he's going to have to be just a little bit flexible. I'm excited to see what he kind of leans to in this with what they have. It might end up being the Victor. Maybe he ends up playing that back line, but I think on a map like this, you want some more mobility than a character like that. I'd love to see maybe an off-tank come out now with the DPS being picked up on the other side, but they'll go for the Xin. I think that makes sense. RC Soldier has looked monstrous on this pick so far, so if you're going to deny me the Andro, we're going to deny you your Xin.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to be able to get the picks that they want on both sides as the Androxus is there. Like you said, deny the Andro, we're going to deny you the Xin. Xin is going to be on the side of Ignite Gaming. Victor is there as well, with Corvus being their healer. Fatal Ambition now have the ball in their court. They're about to pick two more characters. Barrick is going to be picked. I was wondering. I mean, it is. I mean, to be fair with you, it is BR. It is Brazil. Yeah. So I was expecting to see it at some point, and here it is. Barrick is going to be brought out on the side of Fatal Ambition. Leon is there to make sure they have their other DPS locked in, and Rom Torvald on the side of Ignite Gaming. You have some pocket potential there. That much is for certain.
I don't hate that. I don't hate the Rom. I think having the bubbles onto the DPS on this big wide map can help pretty significantly. Also, this is one of those maps where Torvald is actually good. It's really not in a lot of other places, but Torvald can just kill you on this map, especially that Lex, who until next patch won't be able to slide out of it while he's getting sent flying off the map. Lex, though, I like this counter pick from Fatal Ambition. I think them having the chance to execute people who are Torvald bubbled, even if they are healthy enough with that bubble to be over that threshold. If they're below that, no matter where they are, they're going to be that low. I think I might have actually had the team scores wrong here. My fault. I had it flipped around. Fatal Ambition, I believe, were the ones who won the last map. So my fault there. Ignite Gaming now are the ones who got the pick because they were the losers, so they got the point. I accidentally did the scores and then flipped them to change the names, so my mistake there, but we should be hopefully heading into this map soon to see this. But yeah, like I said, I love the Lex pick. I think it's a great counter pick, and they went to triple DPS, so surprise, surprise, not PS1 is coming back into the roster.
Right.
Fine, he'll do it himself, him coming off of the bench once more to help them, and we'll see if he can have a better performance than last time.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully it will be a better performance than last time. I mean, we've seen the potential that Lex has beforehand. I mean, we even saw it yesterday when we were casting some of the sets from yesterday. We saw the Torvald and the Lex be on the same team once again, but in this scenario, I mean, they're actually going to go... Are they really going to stick with Death Hastens? That's interesting. Not Retribution, not Discovery is not what we're seeing here. It's actually going to be Death Hastens.
Which is... I honestly, I feel like every time we see Brazil play, I feel like they're just one step behind the North American meta when you look at it like that. Whenever you watch them, last season, what were they doing the entire time, the whole phase? They were just playing double tank the whole time. We're like, what? Everyone's doing triple DPS. What are you guys doing? And now we come back and everyone's playing double tank again. What are you guys doing? Because they're all pulling out the triple DPS. Just not really caught up with that Discovery, which pairs so well with that Genos. Would have been a phenomenal pick to fill things out, but just not there for them now. But we'll see what this Death Hastens Lex can do.
Well, we will have to see what he can do as he's waiting for a little bit of time to make his way to the sides here. Kubi's just finding the damage in the barrack, but the shield goes up almost instantly, and he can't peek that angle anymore because of the fact that Leon is going to find a very well-timed shot to his head. Burst him for a lot of damage. Rom Ornstein finds himself with a double already, as things have steadily gone towards the way of Ignite Gaming so far. 24% to 30. It seemed pretty commanding for Fatal Ambition, but Ignite are not going to take this one lying down. They're going to fight back. Has a fight left in him. Lex escapes with just barely his life.
Yeah, they barely manages to get away, and we'll see what more poke he can find. But this Torvald's been looking great for them. He'll have him sit on point, keep them all bubbled up and ready to go. We'll see what if Groundford can even make it in. He'll get nullified instantly, so no shield, but no one's there to really shoot him. No DPS were there to help them support that. The shield goes down, and there goes the Barrack health pool right away with headshots coming in from Kubi's, and now they have to send a non-tank to the objective to keep it contested.
Exactly, and it seems like in this scenario that Ignite Gaming, even though they had the lead so heavily on their side, they might actually have more and more people that end up getting picked off. Corvus and Zen do manage to make it off. Kubi's forces out the barrage, or forces himself to use the barrage to see if he can really find any more damage into their team. They managed to find one. Deja Vu is going to be able to at least find RC Soldier. Ornstein has now made his way onto the objective. Zen is bubbled and going straight on in, as Corvus is providing that healing. Spites him almost instantly, prevents him from getting back to the point, and Ignite Gaming are going to find themselves where they want to.
I noticed Headed just did not stop shooting when that counter came up, so honestly, lucky for him that he missed every shot, because he might be on the respawn timer right now if he didn't here. But a bit of a misstep from Ornstein, thought his team was closer. Huge heavy swing, though. Deja Vu might help them keep the pressure on, but no one really willing to go far enough here. Groundford now mounting back to the objective to keep it contested while they wait for those respawns. But Fatal Ambition, I don't know how they can even play against this. This is a great dive by them. Torvald and Rom and Zin all going in on the same target. Maybe they just need to have the Barrack peeling back a little bit more instead of contesting that objective.
A minute and 45 seconds remaining as the accursed arm gets dropped directly onto the Rom, but Ornstein's going to shrug that one off no problem because of the health pool that Rom has at his disposal. RC Soldier finds run on Kubi's, but can't escape the law. Ornstein is going to get deleted almost instantly. That execution is there. As death hastens, I'm actually curious, Chris, can you see the damage charts here? I'm actually curious how well this is actually going. It's not going great for Death Hastens' legs for right now, so far. It's only been 4 minutes into the game, so it's not that crazy, but even still,
he's shooting
not
into shields,
able to
though.
sort of... Right, exactly, yeah. He's shooting into a lot of shielding from, I mean, granted, the Torvald being a factor here. I mean, it makes it a lot more prominent for them. Especially when he's the one that has to be on shield breaking duty.
Yeah, when everyone who's fighting is getting bubbled, it's going to be really hard for him here. But he's getting a lot of kills now. He's getting quite a bit of the cleanup. Ornstein ends up finding them here. Look at this dive, though, and really aggressively. Deja Vu barely escapes with his life, but doesn't even get it. Roopsin manages to chase down the kill.
Roopsin and RC Soldier find one kill apiece as Groundford tries to hold his ground here. And Ornstein gets Void Grip the minute he tries to escape. 30 seconds still on the clock here. They have to try and find some sort of way back to the cart. Don't know if they'll be able to do that. Fish Market is a very wide map, so you got a long trek ahead of you to make it back to the cart. RC Soldier is there and is going to find a lot of damage plugged into him. Thanks to the Victor, Zen finds the opportunity and goes in out off the back of a Torvald bubble. He's trying his best to move right on in. It's not going to be enough for him, though. Ornstein manages to beat him. They collapse on him, pincer them, if anything, but they still manage to find a pick on the tail end of things. Toss out the grenades. They find the Barrack here, and they do. Kubi's with a nice double kill. It's going to set his team up to make sure they can keep on rolling the cart.
And I need to tell you guys this because chat pointed something out to me that I didn't notice when it happened. So when Kubi's got bubbled during his barrage, he wasn't expecting the speed boost. So he walked right off the map. Mid-barrage. I did not know. He didn't get shot at all, so it didn't pop up. But it was the speed boost from the bubble that he probably wasn't expecting to get. Ended up sending him far and away here. Look at this, though. Ignite. Deja Vu is so aggressive. I don't get a bubble here. I don't know if PS1's really ready for that to happen, so he's going to lose this duel. And both DPS, only Andro left really for them, and they waste the Dome Shield over the hill. What is Fatal Ambition doing?
I can't believe they even made it back to point, and even still, RC Soldier gets taken out as well. The accursed arm gets popped, but they don't find what they need here. They don't even have the ability to touch. 2-0 for Ignite Gaming. I can't believe that, dude. That's insane. A 2-0 already? They use the Dome Shield just as they're about to try and contest, and they die almost instantly in a situation where they didn't need to use Dome Shield. They don't have to.
I mean, just let it go in and play off your comeback at that point. You're putting your Barik
Right,
on the objective
exactly.
anyway. Your Barik who's getting out damaged by a Rom who's just dying instantly on these fights. I don't know if that's really worth it. You need your Dome Shield. They were down both their Lex and their Leon. They only had their Andro, who really was not going to be able to follow up. Just a really tough decision that they're going to have to find a way to live with as they move forward into this round. Only ultimates available, Time and Space and the Law from the Lex. So hard to find potential value out of them. I'm going to watch PS1 and see what he tries to do here to make up for that. What kills he can find, anyone who's low he can find here, but a Death Ball early from Ignite Gaming means he can't really isolate and 1v1 anybody.
Well, Lex is trying to plug it down. There he can just catch one headshot and goodbye, Lex. It was nice knowing you for the couple seconds that you were there standing up on that high ground, and Torvald took advantage of that. Penny manages to use the hyperdrive and forces him all the way off of the map there. Cataclysm gets used as well. Not sure what mark that's going to be able to find, but they at least are able to get Barik in the long run of things. Ornstein moves all the way into the back, trying to find the damage. Spited the Leon as he's firing a lot into the reversal for Androxus. Androxus is going to make it out of this one. It's going to be unfortunate as things are steadily rounding and coming to a head here. Barik is there, able to fight back. They find the damage now and then, but they still are in so much control on the side of Ignite Gaming. No one's there to be able to touch them. At least getting the kill on Deja Vu might mean something for him, but can Barik make it back? They don't. He dies on the way there and can't even touch.
Of course he can. There's a Victor in the way. Those headshots and body shots even. He just doesn't have enough of a health pool to make it work now that COD 3's online. Double time heals for effectively nothing. Can't get the touch. You know, not PS1 though. Contesting the cart. They're making up for the loss there as they manage to stabilize here. But once they get their respawns and have everyone to this cart, they should be able to collapse all over them with the sustain that they have. And the mids both being lost by them, I don't know if they have the items to really get through the shields and the healing that they have to be able to burn through on the side of Fatal.
And 2 minutes to be able to try and roll this one right on through. Ignite Gaming are holding their ground pretty effectively. This is a very quick Fish Market game. If anything, 8 minutes and we're already at a 3-0. That's a great look for Ignite so far. They got the kill. They got 2 of them. And this is where things get more interesting because of the fact that we just saw this happen beforehand. They were able to stall for so long. They were able to get wonderful kills on the way in on the side of Ignite, on the side of Fatal Ambition, excuse me. Are they going to be able to hold it long enough to where they can't get back to the cart?
Maybe not. Not with Groundford going down. I mean, an early dive and guillotine. Plus, now they're split a little bit, but they had to trade this in for it, and Ornstein's taking a lot of damage that he probably doesn't want to, but bubbled and saved by the Enlightenment, and everyone on Fatal's side is so low.
Now Rob's going to run right on in. He gets healed back up. He gets bubbled, and they make their way all the way back to the cart. Groundford going down due to a Zen Spite. It's pretty huge, actually. It's not PS1 has to back up to Hastings. Once again, finding its marks here and there. The real fights are happening on the cart. They have to be able to try and stall this one out. Cataclysm goes through. They are going to be able to find the damage there. Barik's not going to get killed, but Headed and Roofson are. Barik has to try and find his way out. Can't make it there. Androxus tries to win that duel, but that's a losing fight for you, my friend. It's going to be an easy kill immediately for Ignite Gaming. The cart's going to keep on rolling continuously. Things are going to get more and more intense as it is now only 25 seconds. Around the same time they were able to make it back to cart last round. They're back on cart and in a better position this round. 15 seconds and no one's really trying to push forward to contest either.
Have they learned from history? We'll see if they can kind of avoid this from happening again. The Torv's in, catches them a little bit off guard. RC is just slowly getting chipped away and will probably now lose to Deja Vu, but he dives. It's a one-for-one trade, but I don't know if they can sustain the point.
Doesn't seem like it either. They use the Dome Shield. They're at least able to stall for a little bit longer through time and space is there. Not going to be able to do much, if anything. Dome Shield gets brought down almost instantly. They use the barrage to try and take care of Barik in this scenario. As overtime is now a factor, the car's going to keep on rolling right on through. A Cursor Arm is there, but I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to touch. Puts up the reversal to go out, and Tropic Breach is there, and that's going to be it. Ignite Gaming with a swift 4-0 on Fish Market against Fatal Ambition. We're tied. We're going to a game 5.
How did we see 2 of the longest 4-0s in a row back to back?
Right, exactly.
Those were both 4-0s that went the full distance on the mid. Those mids felt like a whole payload push every time they came around. Just constantly a slog of a 4-0 for Ignite to burn through, but they did. Both of their wins have been the longest 4-0s of all time, more or less. But either way, they make it happen on Fish Market. I liked their draft a lot. I liked the Torvin Zin kind of abusing those flanks on their side, and I want to look at these stats and see if not PS1 was able to perform decently here. Bottom 3 of the damages, but I think he was more for the execute. I'm not sure how much they were able to get out of that because the damage far and away, I would say, leaning towards Ignite Gaming with Kubi's and Deja Vu. Both getting those Torv bubbles, performing, I think, pretty well into them. Groundford also, I think, equally struggling, taking half the damage of the ROM, but even doing less damage than him in the process.
It already seems like not PS1. It's at 58k. The lowest damage in the game, in reference to the other DPSs, of course. And that's just not the best look. 9-8-4 though, so he was able to secure a lot of those last hits. He was able to convert a lot of that. 4-7-13 for Headed, 6-7-9 for RC Soldier. Groundford going 2-10. It's not the best look, but it's the best one you can give on Fish Market, especially when you go down like that. 24 assists for Corvus as well. I feel like that Corvus-Torvald combo was a lot harder for Fatal Ambition to wait to go against. What did you say, the Torvus? Yeah, the Torvus combo is a lot hard to deal with.
Yeah, I mean that's what Dave accidentally called Torvald 3 times in a row. So that's what I've now decided is the name of the combination of the two of them together. Definitely a lethal combination that we are going to see quite a bit more. I think it's just as good as Genos Torv, which is also pretty scary because then you get Field Study, plus you get old Field Study, plus you get current Thanks Grandpa. So definitely a good combination of them to have here. Fatal Ambition, though, I mean, this is the final game of this set. No matter what, it's 2-2. They have to figure out how to make this work now. And the map they want to go to for the last map is going to be Frog Isle, so a potential sniper area here. Also, the same map that ended a very tense set we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, between Pickle Pepper and them. So similar looks here. We'll see if what team will kind of get the favor in the draft when we get there.
Yeah, I entirely agree with that too. I mean, we end on Frog Isle yesterday. It seems like we're ending on Frog Isle today. Score is tied at 2-2 as well. And I wonder if they're going to try and go back to the Corvus Torvald, or I should say, I guess I should just call it Torvus at this point. Or Corvald. I do like the Torvus a little bit better. We'll have to see if the Torvus combo is going to come back out to shine here on Frog Isle. Not too sure if that's going to be the case, though, so far. Fatal Ambition are going to ban away the Maeve. They don't want to deal with that one so far.
Yeah, Maeve gone. They've banned it, I think, almost every single game.
They have,
think of a map that they haven't. I'll even go back. I have it all in front of me here. So Maeve. They banned Buck Maeve every single game except the last one where they banned Ash instead, and this one where they've banned something else, which I'll type in now that it's been revealed to me. It is actually Genos. So their first pick, but they don't want it. They don't want that Genos. They're willing to get rid of it and kind of put them in a position now. Ignite Gaming have to decide, do I ban the Corvus and give them the Kinessa, or do I ban the Kinessa, give them the Corvus, or leave both open and give them whatever one they want more?
Yeah, exactly. And they actually do get rid of one of the pocket healers, and this is going to be the first time where we haven't seen Corvus and Genos. In fact, I believe throughout this entire set, I believe the first game we didn't even really see them. They may have been banned out, but even still, it's going to be the Kinessa here, but they leave open one sniper and don't take it for themselves. They're not going to get rid of that one. They get rid of Strix because I mean, it's sort of like it's really sort of like a monkey's paw situation, right? I mean, it's like you get rid of the Corvus, okay, great. You get rid of both snipers, great. You give them Corvus, right? You get rid of both snipers, then you end up having a situation like this one where you get rid of Strix and you have to respond with the Corvus because you don't want them to have it, and then they end up locking in Kinessa. So, I mean, that was sort of just an unfortunate situation for Ignite, but I'm sure they can handle it. They already have ROMs in, so they definitely have a strong backline. But Ash, Shaolin, Fatal Ambition, I'm liking their draft so far.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Kinessa Shaw is a great combination of backlines to have on this map. Kinessa for just the burst damage, and Shaolin for some control, especially into that ROM that's going to be so aggressive, as we know on the other side. Interesting, though, the Ying-Torvald combo. Ying for raw sustain, Torvald also for sustain, but his ultimate's super valuable on this map. You normally want to play it into aggressive dive compositions, and that's not what's being played here at all. They don't have that aggressive comp. They have kind of a pokey comp. The only one getting aggressive is that Ash, and I guess that might be what the Torvald is for. So Inara, better point tank left, she can kind of hold and contest that objective in the meantime, and Furia to end things. So no Damba? I feel like Damba plays so well into this, right? You have the extra CC for the Rom and the Zen. They're getting aggressive. The Fear is fantastic. The damage boost for peeking when they try to pressure you. I don't really see the value of Furia here when they have Kinessa and Shaw. They're not looking to get that aggressive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking too, Krez. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the Furia pick here either, because it seems like it's trying to send their composition two different directions, right? I mean, you have the Furia for the Inflame. You want to go forward. You want to push in. You want to engage, but that's not going to matter much with the Kinessa. You have two backliners. Sure, they can play aggressive if they need to, but only if the positioning favors them, right? They're not going to be sending for like a Zen or like an Androxus or anyone that has a way to get in, get out. They're going to position accordingly. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, they did lock it in. So Fatal Ambition, they've got a plan. Ignite Gaming have a plan of their own by locking in the Amani last. Seeing her for the second time in this set, they feel comfortable enough to make this one work.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Amani. I actually love it on this map because Amani doesn't have jumping and accuracy on her fireballs. So you can actually do quite a bit just jumping over the wall and trading into the sniper. Definitely something you don't see too much, but someone who's used to Amani, especially someone who's going to be playing perma fire stance like Kubi's, can take quite a bit of advantage of. But we'll slide into the game, and we'll see how they manage to make it work. Game 5 of Fatal Ambition versus Ignite Gaming. What a set it's been, and I don't know if either of us were really expecting this going in. I knew Fatal have been getting better, but significantly better. I wasn't expecting. Divino now back off the bench, just the back and forth every single game, swapping now that they want two tanks, and we'll see. They've won every game with them. They've lost every game without them. To me, that says good things for Fatal Ambition.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, in terms of the talents, though, everything seems to be pretty standard for the most part. Nothing really too different here. So everything seems to all check out. No one's really going anything different than what we would have expected. Having that Rezo early, though, of course, I guess to put a stop to any of the Cataclysm, I mean, make it a little bit harder for that to matter as much. Maybe the Frost Bomb, trying to stop that in case she ever switches from Pyro. But even still, they did start off with a Cauterize, Resilience first, both of those items. Now the fights have already started. The Heavy Swing is going out every now and again, but not finding its mark. Just really firing around those corners in case anyone decides to walk around into a couple of shots. Cripple Arrow goes out. They find one mark, but they don't find the kill they may have been looking for. The percentage is going more so towards the side of red, as First Blood is now a factor. As Kinessa finds that first kill needed for her team to make some percentage work for them on the point. Nice headshot. Immediately, as they're now looking at the Amani, manages to catch one, finds another headshot again. It's a Rom, and it's going to submit them to kill.
Yarcy's the one who cleans up on that, and we'll take a look at Kubi's here as he wants to play in this window and fight them. But look at this. I love this. Shaw and Ash actually getting decently aggressive here up in danger side, but they have to give it up once the Torvald and Zen come. They just can't fight that quite yet. They can at least cripple this in and maybe go for that kill. Someone's going to have to come in and touch, and Rom might be able to do it. Ornstein respawning, but Deja Vu, a little bit overpaced, pushes, but they miss the last shot of the rapid blow, and they can't find the kill.
And they don't find the kill on RC Soldier either, just like you were saying. They use the Headhunter to see if they can plug in more damage into Rom, make him a little bit more uncomfortable. Looks like it's going to do much. Spike goes right on in, catches him around the corner. Deja Vu is going to find that mark hit. Check that one off of the list. 93% to 93 as the wall goes up for ground for Cataclysm goes out. And they're going to be able to take care of Inara here. They just stand still. There's not going to be much to be able to go off of, as the ultimate for Amani goes straight on through. This is going to be hard to fight back against, especially when you have such an enclosed area like this, an enclosed space on Frog Isles. That dragon is wreaking some havoc right now.
Yeah, they try to fight it. Just buys a little bit of time. I love that they go all the way up and just shoot down. Looks like... I was actually worried the ground for disconnected there, but it looked like he was just accepting the doom there near the end. You see this push here. They're walking right up. They seal in the ROM, but he might just be able to walk away.
Seismic Crash gets used. They manage to catch him on the way out. They find a lot of damage into him, but he's still being out-healed despite all of that. And they keep him alive. They even win on the back end of that trade. They try and force things to go their way, but it's not going to work out for him as Kubi's finds himself a nice double kill. Frostfire glides his way in as he's trying to catch him on the way out. They do manage to catch him, but it's not going to be Kubi's. It's going to be Deja Vu stopping the Furia in her tracks.
They have him locked in spawn right now. Deja Vu all over them right now with an Inferno Cat. I love watching Kubi's just drive by with this Inferno Cat. It's very silly seeing it, but RC maybe bites off a little bit more than he can chew and falls. Headhunter, though, defensively being popped, but no one really to see other than Ornstein on this ROM.
And already they run right on through, and Vanessa's having a hard time trying to find her footing here. They are just steamrolling time and time again over these guys. As there was a minute and 10 seconds left, but they didn't even need a minute and 10. They don't even need all that. Ignite Gaming, the very swift 2-0. This is looking to be in their pocket for right now, but we've seen this before. We've seen things lead by 2-0, and then both of these teams duke it out time and time again, fight back and forth. And even though Headed is only 1-0, he hasn't died yet. He's finding plenty of damage. Granted, he's shooting in the ROM, but he's still making it hard for Ornstein to do anything.
I wish I could pull up a damage taken stat in-game so I could see exactly how much he's managed to absorb on that. Interesting on this Furia build, you don't usually see these days Furia without Ruthless. It's a card that people think is kind of important, but definitely just kind of sticking with the old build and hoping there's enough healing to go around to keep that Wrath meter up to maximize the damage being dealt here. Groundford. Wait, why did they go Resilience? It looks like probably just the Torvald Nullify on the ultimate would be my guess, but we'll see what else they can find with it. With an early split, this is how you should be looking to take this initial fight, but an early Heat Haze from Shaw. He's running down main, but they found him. He took a lot of damage early. He can't go much further.
Furia is healing him back up, though, so he is going to be able to make some worth out of that. They do find the damage, but the Dragon is what they're going to push off in. As now is flying high in the skies. They are melting that Inara as they have to use the End Flame as well. They take it out just as quickly, but even still, they force out a full-on ultimate for that. They have to assert dominance for Ashe. Cataclysm goes out. Will they be able to kill Inara? They do. That wall gets bursted down, and they go directly on top of the pillar. That's not exactly the area you want to be in. Can't really contest from that range, but at the same time, you are going to be able to at least hold your ground for a little bit longer. This pillar is mine, says Ashe. But that's all she's going to be able to say. She has to shoulder bash her way out of this engagement. That's 51% to 74. That's what's going to find its way into the back pocket of Ignite Gaming.
Yeah, with Amani still sitting here, they have this area under control, but a Seismic Crash might come in. Who does it go for? It looks like effectively nobody with Groundford still trying to live on the point. So much damage coming in, but they can't chase him down.
They can. The wall goes up. He doesn't have the Cataclysm this time around. They do knock one of them off. RC Soldier is gone, but Divino finds Ornstein, which is pretty huge considering how low Inara already was. The Fatal Ambition captured the point. Nobody else was touching. Everyone was so worried about fighting around the objective that they overall lose the engagement there. My goodness. They just end up going down instantly. Deja Vu finds himself a nice little double kill. That's a great look for them, but not so great for the fact that Fatal Ambition were able to sweep that one from out under him.
I mean, they just, if he had bubbled Kubi's immediately and let him go in, maybe they could have contested it, but just not able to go in for it. Ignite, though, I mean, they're making it look like they won that. They are so aggressive. Deja Vu and Ornstein are all over them at their spawn.
Yeah, it already seems like they already found a one pick onto Roopset. They are going to be able to get rid of the ROM here as the Heat Haze gets popped from RC. So they're looking for shots to find and finding them, but not finding any kills, though. As they are going to be able to find one. Divino goes down almost instantly as Ignite Gaming are still holding on. Deja Vu goes right back in, but billows his way out, gets healed right back up thanks to Ying. As they now have to find a better opportunity for themselves. Groundford is moving in. Look at how much damage he's taking with the DR up. Now that he's there, it's going to be hard for them to commit unless they get rid of Kubi's way earlier than they may have wanted them to. Illusory Rift is up, but of course she's going to save that and not use it. They use Headhunter on the escape. And now Kinessa's not going to find any value out of that at all. As now everyone on the side of Ignite Gaming ready for their teammates to come back. Gets the stun on ROM, and he's going to go down here on the sidelines. Fatal Ambition have so much control over the objective.
Yeah, and they're going to see if they can keep rolling this forward. It's not a long card path, so it could turn around quicker than you think. A lot of people here, but Divino doesn't want to use the Assert Dominance. Instead, gets spited, executed by the Guillotine, and Ignite might have a foothold for the first time since the card started rolling again.
45 seconds available to him. This Fatal Ambition is still going to be rolling this cart right on through. Deja Vu is there, but might be getting a little bit too aggressive. Shaolin is there as well, but Roops is going to make sure that he takes care of him. RC Soldier doesn't have to. Their health pool is looking pretty similar. So in fact, they both are extremely low. Kubi's goes down too. They're rolling this cart one in pretty quickly as they use the Seismic Crash. They want to get on Ying, and they do. They take her out of the picture. As now Torvald has to back up. Rom's all the way on objective with them, runs his way right on out. 14 seconds still alive and kicking. Not much time left though. This game could go to a 2-2 tie already. Rom's not even touching. He gets stunned on the way in, and they're going to take him out. No one else can touch. That's a 2-2 tie already. My goodness.
He finally goes in for it, but he should have just... I don't know if he should have died in the cart. It's such a hard decision there. Maybe run against the wall, keep that cart stuck there for a little bit, but just... ended up going in a little bit too late. It's so hard to survive as a ROM when you just get immediately hit by the crippling arrow and cancel that 50% DR you tend to rely on. But a tied game right now. 2-2 here between these two teams. What a turnaround, though, by Fatal. They were literally getting destroyed by their spawn doors before they managed to break out. Once they broke out, they just didn't stop rolling the cart. The Torvald bubbles weren't really doing much. RC, I think, was doing a great job of mitigating the effectiveness there. And Fatal Ambition have had, I think, a tough time on the mids, but if they can make it work, they might be able to keep that cart rolling again and just close this set out fast.
Let's see. Both these teams are going to play and adapt to each other's strategies. Considering the fact it's already tied at a 2-2. Anara's being pretty aggressive as well. I'd be careful with that Torvald there, even with the Earthen Guard being effective, because once that runs out, he might even use it, knock you straight off the map, but this is going to be the case here. Sardana's all the way up into the high ground as they're going to move in. They take care of Groundfort, but they aren't going to be able to find the kill directly onto Amani. Planted tries to get used. The Rapid Arrow is there, but it's not going to be able to find the kill. Cataclysm goes out. Ashe may have bitten off a little bit more than she could have chewed as the shoulder bash goes through, but gets body blocked by Kubies. The Inferno Cannon is going to leave her into ashes.
The point blank, too, right in the face. No way to avoid that. Hopefully they are able to figure out what to do from that, but right now they're holding back here. Fatal Ambition headed, controlling this really well. Headhunter finally manages to actually get a kill on Rom for the first time so far this game. They'll maintain control, but they're not pushing too far forward. Now they are. This is what they needed to do the whole time. They were just waiting for Divino on the respawn, I guess, but again, he's alone. He can't do this by himself, and Shaolin so far away. This should be the place for Ignite to be able to pounce and catch him, but they just let him walk out.
66% already to 27. They use the hyperdrive and they knock one of them off. 72% for Fatal Ambition is what's climbing right now. But considering they got that kill, they have to back off, and Ignite Gaming are going to be the ones to take their spot onto the objective here. 57% available to them as Ignite Gaming are available. Spy in, but the shoulder bash makes it out just in the nick of time. Gonna try and stop her from using that, but use it a little bit too early, my friend. Or I should say too late at all at that, as the Seismic Crash runs right on through. It finds its mark, gets the stun on Ornstein, but they're not going to be able to find much more than that. Dragon is there. They find the damage, and the Inferno Cannon is what's going to melt this Ashe. Once again, turn her into ashes, if anything. 96% to 84%. As things are still coming down to the wire. Rom's just running around on point, if anything. Just trying to hold his ground, and with the Illusion Rift there, they might even be able to hold on a little bit longer.
They're going to start dominance. 2 stuns 3, but the Illusion Rift keeps him up for just a second longer. Not too long, as they have to throw themselves away in Fatal Ambition. Looks like at the end of it, they can run away with it. They still have Deja Vu in, but no bubbles, and he has a whole team to deal with.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to deal with any team whatsoever. As Ying was able to touch, but she has to try and find some sort of way out. Seems like she is going to be able to do that, but at the same time, it's not really going to matter much, honestly. Fatal Ambition have already captured this point and tied this up at a 3-2. Shaolin's trying to find any sort of arrows around the corner, or see if he can find anyone that might be walking around a corner trying to peek.
They've used an aggressive feed haze here, but they're just using, I guess, to deny the retake by them. I love this by Deja Vu. You need to split the teams in, has to get aggressive, especially with these bubbles, and he gets a trade. That's okay on the defense. That's exactly what they want, and they're going to get even more aggressive off it. The third Dragon in like 3 minutes coming out from Kubies.
Already Kubies finds one and melting down multiple different targets as Divino gets taken out of the fray here. Groundfort just slowly burning, if anything, as now they have to look at Furia. They've found their mark here. They've been able to turn the tables here. Fatal Ambition are now on the back foot as now Ignite Gaming can make their way even more forward. And they already were, thanks to that Dragon. With a minute and 30 seconds still remaining, DR goes up thanks to Groundfort, utilizing it at the right time, but once that goes away, it might be a little bit of a problem. Cataclysm goes out, manages to find Kinessa, and they find one of the DPSs gone. Ornstein falls suit soon after that, but Deja Vu was already around the corner, ready on the flank to apply some pressure. He finds the pressure available to him, and manages to almost find Roopson, does end up finding him, almost missed those shots. He's going to be able to find Groundfort as well, or at least Kubies is going to be able to find Groundfort, as now Fatal Ambition are just being staggered out time and time again.
Yeah, they're getting locked by the spawn, but a quick rotation might open it up. They have Shaw and Ashe, again, kind of the dream team combo for them so far, able to push the back, and they see that they're all up. They don't want to take a fight in a bad position, so they can disengage here just a little bit, but another engagement. Ornstein and Rom. Ornstein and Xin both going in here, and they cut up 2. Penny cleans up all of these kills.
He can't even make it out. Divino's trying to do what he can, but See, like we have a quick pause real quick as things are trying to get settled out, or I believe that wasn't, I mean, I guess somebody may have hit a button or anything at that point, but 30 seconds still remaining to them for Fatal Ambition to make it back to the card. I mean, we see him do it on Fish Market. Hopefully they'll be able to do it here. 20 seconds are once again available to him. Groundfish trying to make his way back. Same thing for all the people of Fatal Ambition, but Zen just makes his way all the way into the back line, finds one pick as now Roopson has to try see if he can get the trade on Zen. He does, but everyone's trying to make their way to card. They're body blocking her so well, and they use the silence. They nullified the shoulder bash for her to make it through, and they can't make it back. Groundford makes it through, but it's already too late at that point.
I loved that play, but just both tanks standing side by side, arms interlocked. You will not get past us in that window, denying anyone from walking through here. Surprising to see Kubi's at the top of the damage charts. Normally, it's very easy for Kinessa to kind of run away with it, especially into a ROM, but I think the Torvald bubbles are mitigating a lot of what she would have been doing otherwise. So definitely, I think, good look from Kubi's here, proving that Imani can work fantastically on Frog Isle. I think the Torvald is paying off decently well for them. I'll look at shielding as right before we roll out. He has 117k blocked, so that's damage that's all staying for them. Penny now finishing the atomization, but we have 10 ultimates heading into this mid-fight. I think Ignite have more that can engage maybe, but the assert dominance from Divino is going to be so important.
They use the Inflame, but look at how they have to respect the Dragon here. Assert dominance all the way in the back. They do manage to find, they do manage to actually find the Imani, but she's going to be able to make it out. Look at where Deja Vu is with Ornstein. They've been doing this like crazy, running all the way into the back line. They have been tearing it up back there. They have not let anyone have an opportunity to breathe. Ornstein and Deja Vu, the dynamic duo, they've been in that back line living rent-free. And Fatal Ambition have yet to find a way to evict them out of this positioning that they've held so far. Hyperdrive is going to get used. They knock a couple off of the map, a double kill, and that's all she wrote. They aren't going to be able to make it back to point because Ignite Gaming take this one 3-2.
What, I mean, the fights were pretty sided towards Ignite, I think. Most of the mids, Fatal barely won them out by the end, but the dive is just perfect by them. They get in so far. They're so distracted by the dragon, their Ashe is just shooting at Imani that's not moving for 300 damage at a time, basically. And then she manages to run away. She's so distracted, no one comes back to peel. She even saw that decision, that one split second of, am I going to fight with my team with this assert dominance, or am I going to stop this dragon? She makes the wrong call. A little thing like that can turn a game on its head.
Yeah. Moving all the way into the back line, I mean, you have a way that you use the assert dominance, like you said, lock down the dragon, but while that was happening, I hadn't even realized that Deja Vu and Ornstein were still all the way in the back wreaking havoc. Kubi's with 156,000 damage, Deja Vu with 128k, 81,000 for Ornstein, and the damage taken, there it is, 224,000 damage taken by Ornstein. He's eating them shots. He's not minded.
Yeah, you could say that Ornstein absorbed so much damage and didn't even die that much, less than Deja Vu, actually. 6 and 8 from him. Deja Vu got 18 kills. Actually, surprising, Kubi's and Zeeds only a combined 4 deaths with them. They did a great job of not being pressured, but that's because they were the aggressive team. They had the ROM going in, they had the Zin going in, and they really kind of helped them barrel forward into a win here. Shaw definitely struggling on their side. Maybe a flanker or someone more self-sustaining that could have pushed with the Ashe could have helped a little bit, but neither here nor there. That's not the way that the draft ended up, and it was just tough to make them execute with it. But with that being played, now we can head out to the standings here of Brazil once it's all said and done. Parallax, of course, 8-0, 20 plus minus, far and away above everyone, but look at that little close brawl happening in the middle, 5 and 3s between all those teams, so such a close region. And then Fatal Ambition, that 1-7, by the way, that was the team that just put that game up against them, so huge improvements by them. I hope to see that continuing, and I hope to see Tempest team figure out something, because they're definitely, every time I see them, I mean, we see something happen from them. I believe, I want to say they took a map off Parallax when we saw them play them. Nope, they took a map off of someone else, was not Parallax. They brought Fatal Ambition close last time they played, I believe, but weren't able to get much else from that Tempest team. Definitely struggling to find their footing in the Brazilian PPC.
Yeah, it hasn't really been able to find much of a mark here. Tempest team, once again, all the way towards the end at -20. Parallax Gaming still undefeated at a +20, the #1 seed, but that's all the games we got for you today, guys. But those were some banger games. I'm gonna be honest with you. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
to be able to see these lower seeded teams bring out their A game here, that's absolutely that's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I really can't ask for better games to be able to watch on a Saturday evening, if anything. And thank you guys so much for watching. Honestly, the Paladins Pro Circuit community broadcast. I mean, I'm Fawn the Legend. Once again, joined here by Kresnik. We had went through the European bracket. Mixala's up beforehand, and we had seen the bracket earlier. We had seen Brazil as well. But be sure that you guys tune in on Monday as well for the Paladin Central Minor League. I remember this time. Be sure that you guys tune in, at least for the most part, at 1 p.m. Eastern for us to be able to show off what's actually happening there. Noon Eastern. That's right. Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess I'm solo casting for an hour on Monday. If I didn't say anything, I guess I was going to be alone for a while there. 1 p.m. Eastern is when next week of the PPC starts on Thursday.
Yes, that's
so definitely don't miss that either.
Right. That's what I was thinking of for that situation. It's next week's PPC, but at the same time, it's been wonderful to be your host, Fawn the Legend, Kresnik TV. Kresnik, you can take us out.